Oh, it's been raining for a while. It's been looking like that. This is what yesterday. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's a month service presentation of our Money, Health, and Wealth Financial Capability Series. Oops, wrong one. Got the wrong screen up. There we go. Okay, today's Money, Health, and Wealth presentation of Mind Over Money, How Finances Shape Your Mental Wellness. My name is Nia Murray. I am the Programs Coordinator with Neighborhood Recovery Community Development Corporation, and we are one of the partners in our A Month of Service collaboration. Also included is the City of Houston's Department of Neighborhoods, Lone Star Legal Aid, Harris Central Appraisal District, Harris County Tax Assessor Collector's Office, Texas Legal Services Center, Harris County Attorney's Office, and was it Texas Legal Services Center? Who else am I missing? Earl Carl Institute. My apologies. So together we make up a month of services, a month of service, and basically it's the collaboration of all of our organizations coming together in a collective effort, pooling a lot of our initiatives so that we can get more information out to the community as a whole. And a lot of that information is related to asset building, asset protection, the maintaining of generational wealth, and community empowerment. And one of the initiatives of Neighborhood Recovery is our Financial Capability Series. And we partnered with Family Houston several years ago in a series of different financial related workshops, whether it be savings and your relationship with money, planning for unexpected life events and credit and debt management and budgeting. So one of the series that we did last year was about your money and how your mental health kind of impacts your finances, or how your finances then impact your mental health. So we wanted to make sure that we incorporated that this particular topic into our financial capability series as well, especially since Family Houston also offers a series or a lot of mental health services and things of that nature as well. And our presenter, Ms. Monet Cheney, and Mr. Pierre Mata will go over the information about what's available and the services that are offered here at Family Houston. So we are here live today, broadcasting from their location. So if you are joining us on Zoom, please feel free to type your question into the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself at the end of the presentation and chime in or ask your question, or ask your question aloud for the folks that are here with us today. So you'll have the opportunity to get your questions addressed by the professionals that are here in the room today. So do keep in mind that we record this session as well as broadcast on our social media platforms. So we ask that you try to keep your questions to be as general as you possibly can, as to not divulge any personal detailed information about any particular circumstance or situation that you're dealing with, but to try to keep it as general as you can. We don't want your personal information kind of getting out there for everybody to have access to. Again, the session is recorded. We do send out a link to the recording for everyone that have registered for today. So if you are joining us again on Zoom, feel free to type your question into the comment section or into the chat, or unmute yourself. If you're joining us on social media, feel free to type your question into the comment section, and I'll make sure that your question is addressed at the end of the presentation as well. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started. And we're going to have Ms. Monet Cheney and Mr. Pierre Mata to introduce themselves, and we're going to get started right with the presentation. So Monet.
Hi, my name is Monet Cheney. Computer. Hi, my name is Monet Cheney, and I am a financial stability coach here at Family Houston. And we offer free financial coaching services for those who are looking to improve their financial stability. And I'll go into like how you can sign up for coaching services later at the end of the presentation.
So my name is Pierre Mata. I'm a marriage and family therapist, and I've been practicing for over 20 years. And I've been with Family Houston for almost 17 years. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Okay. And to get started, so like Nia said, we decided to collaborate just to go over how your finances can affect your mental well-being. And so, okay. I do want to go over some quick learning objectives that we'll be covering today. So first, we're going to identify the emotional costs of money, financial triggers, and life events that influence your mental wellness and how to recognize behavioral changes. So we have our expert, Pierre Mata here to talk about just how our emotions and just things that happen in life can affect our finances and how to recognize those behavioral changes. And then I will come in later to talk about ways to identify ways to reduce financial stress through budgeting tools, savings, and planning for financial peace of mind. Okay.
So one of the things that we're obviously going to be talking about this evening is stress and how financial challenges can be stressful. And so what I wanted to do is to give you guys an opportunity. If you use your phone, you can take the screenshot. There's a QR code there, and you can do a short test and see how stressed out you are. And the reason that I wanted to start with this is because I think that stress is kind of like, we don't always think about it. We're not always thinking about the different things that we have on our minds. Obviously, if you're having financial difficulties or you're purchasing a house or a car or whatever, then you're going to obviously be thinking about those things. But there are so many other things that we don't necessarily think about that can impact us. And so if finances is a stress for you, but if you have other issues that are going on, family problems, health problems, challenges with your marriage or relationship or with your children, your parents, I think those are all challenging. And so I think just being aware that of our vulnerability, should we encounter financial difficulties. So the very first thing that I wanted to talk about is how physical stress, financial stress can manifest in our lives. And so you see there on the screen, it can manifest physically and mentally and within our bodies. And so the first thing that we want to look at is, again, this is obviously all stress, but financial stress as well can affect your body and your mind. And so the first thing is what's called the fight, flight, or freeze response. And most of us are familiar with this. Some of us will say fight or flight, and we forget that freeze is also a response. And so you have to be careful because you may need to make a decision. And if you're so stressed out, you might hesitate in making an important decision that you need to make for yourself and for your family. And so the physiological, this is like a response that kind of is in our very nature, is in our DNA, if you will, right? And so then what happens is when we are stressed out, again, by any type of stress, including financial stress, it's going to release stress hormones. And you see cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. And so these are the things that cause our heart to beat fast, can cause our blood pressure to rise, can cause us to feel like we are in a fog. and shaky, trembling, whatever. So sweaty palms. So you have to be aware of if you're experiencing some of these symptoms, physical symptoms, then you might be overstressed. And of course, stress affects our minds, and so it might have unhelpful thoughts, things that inner, intrusive rumination that are not helpful in our condition, and also definitely feelings and emotions that are not helpful. Feeling like shame or guilt, confusion, sadness, anxiety. Those emotions are real and important, but they can be unhelpful. And then sometimes the thoughts and the feelings can cause us to engage in behaviors that are not healthy, like excessive eating, drinking, smoking, or or compulsive spending. It's so interesting. You would think that that would be the last thing that we would do if we are experiencing financial stress and problems. But what do we do is sometimes we will go and do the very thing that is not going to be really is not going to be helpful. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Is that what is it that actually constitutes a stressful event? And so there's this article that I got this from, and so there are different things. People see stressful event in different ways. Some people think it's just an adaptation, right? So anytime you have to change, you have to do something, that can be stressful. So if you are trying to save money to buy a house, and you're not going out to eat, and you're not using dry cleaning, you're doing laundry and ironing your clothes, whatever, well, that's a change, and that can be stressful. If you feel a threat or harm, so for example, if you are in danger of being your car repossessed, or you're having problems paying your mortgage and you're being threatened by the mortgage company. So that can be very stressful. A stressful event can also be when the demands of your life exceed your resources. And of course, that would include your financial resources. And so the things that you are paying for your kid's school or daycare, you have car repairs or whatever. So all these things starting to add up and can exceed, the demands exceed your resources that you have. And then the unfortunate thing is that sometimes we have to stop pursuing things because of financial issues or whatever. So the interruption of life goals. You may be in school. You may be thought you were going to purchase a house, but now you have to stop. And all of these things can be stressful. And so this is common, is that the mental health crisis and disorders can lead to financial disability. So sometimes we're doing okay financially, but we experience a mental health crisis like depression or anxiety, especially like if you lose a loved one, if you get a divorce, if you have to move, these different that your children leave home, they go to college or whatever, and you get into a depression. All of these things can actually cause financial problems. And if you're worried about your marriage or about your children or about your parents, you might start having problems at work. I have had many clients who are going through a divorce, and it is affecting their job performance, and they're concerned about losing their job, which is not what they need, obviously. And so sometimes it causes people to work less, and maybe even they get terminated from their jobs. And of course, if you get fewer hours at work or you get terminated, there's going to be a loss of income. Well, when we have a loss of income, we still have to eat, we still have to put gas in our car, pay for things, right? And so what happens is we start to accumulate debt. So people say, I don't have time to go to a counselor. I don't have time to go see a doctor and whatever. And these are really things that we cannot afford. We can afford not to do because it could result in affecting our financial stability. And yes, go ahead.
Say-
Exactly.
say-
Right. And that's why, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I think you see it as an investment. So like if your car is having problems and that's the only means you have to get to work, then you're going to fix your car. You're going to figure out a way how to fix your car so you can get to work. Well, you need to figure out a way how to be able to see a therapist or see a doctor. One of the good things about a lot of companies, especially if you have a larger company, they offer something called employee assistance programs. And you can get our company we're not a big company. I think we have less than 100 employees, but we have an employee assistance program where we can get so many free sessions every year. And your family can use it, you can use it. And so there are resources that are available. And Family Houston is one that we offer sliding scale fees for people who don't have insurance, because that can be another challenge, right? Well, so financial stress can lead to these complications. Common psychological conditions is an inability to cope with stress. There's something called a negative attributional style. And this basically says where anything goes wrong, you automatically blame yourself. You know, your kids are upset, your husband or your wife is upset, your partner's upset, and you can blame yourself when it might not be your fault. And it can actually cause you to feel more depressed, right? And another thing that happens when we experience financial stress is this idea we're never going to get out of this situation. I'm never going to have enough money to go on vacation or buy a house or whatever. And this is a really it's an interesting experiment that was done. And what happens is again, if you feel trapped, despite what friends say, a doctor, a counselor says, if you feel trapped, nothing anyone is going to be able to say is going to convince you that you can be in a better financial situation or get out of debt or whatever. And so this keeps a lot of people stuck. And this is really where a therapist can be helpful in giving you a new way of looking at things and offering some, like what I just offered right now. Some of you may not even be aware that your company has an EAP program and that you could go get counseling for free. So that's something. And of course, financial stress, especially over a long period of time, can lead to anxiety and depression. And so some people, they have a genetic disposition to anxiety and depression. It's in their family history, but a lot of times anxiety and depression are situational. And I hear people's stories and they say, I'm so sad and I feel bad. I'm like, you should be sad. It's normal for you to feel anxious. You've got a lot going on. And so there's no need to feel shame because, and again, there are probably other things going on in your life that are also contributing to your stress and to your mental health. So then what is it that we can do? I'm trying to move the little guy, Monet. Okay, I got it. There we go. Whoops. All right. So financial triggers and life events can lead to financial stress and mental health crisis. So you can think, oh, I'm doing so well. I got a little money saved. I'm paying off my debt. And then all of a sudden you have an unexpected expense. You have taxes that are due, or you have your children need braces or something, right? You have something that you weren't even thinking about in terms of a bill or whatever, right? That can cause financial problems. Your home is damaged because of a hurricane or whatever, which is very common here in Houston. And all of a sudden you have to replace your roof or you have to fix the foundation or whatever, right? So unexpected events can trigger this financial problems and lead to financial stress and a mental health crisis. Health problems, huge one. Things like cancer. Cancer is so common, and there are other, issues as well, that people have, and will literally make your financial situation, can put a crisis on your finances. Underemployment or unemployment. Unemployment obviously is a situation that we don't want, but underemployment is also not helpful. So you're working, but you're not making enough money to help provide for your needs. And then, of course, also a change in family structure. So if you are married and then you get divorced, then all of a sudden you're a single parent household, income household. And that can be incredibly challenging and difficult. Or somebody passes away, your spouse passes away, your partner passes away, and now again, you're down to one income. And so that can be challenging. I say change in family structure, it's not always losing someone. Sometimes your parents come to live with you, or your children come back into the house, and all of a sudden you have more expenses than you were thinking about. And of course, catastrophic loss. When someone is injured and they can't work anymore, that's a financial trigger. That's a life event that can definitely cause financial stress and mental health crisis. And so these are some things to say, well, how do I feel like I'm doing okay, Mr. Pierre? Well, how would I know that there's something going on? Well, here are some behavioral changes, because financial stress, in fact, sometimes other people notice that we're stressed out before we do. Sometimes we're just going through the motions or whatever, and it's not until other people are kind of pointing this out to us. Well, here's the things to look out for in yourself or in somebody that you care about, right? So here's the thing, it's a change in the normal routine. So if you're sleeping less, sleeping more, you're having problems falling asleep, you're having problems staying asleep, um, frequent waking up at night, your changes in your appetite. Again, you may be really hungry one moment and you're not hungry at all. And of course, your activities of daily living. So you're not taking a shower, you're not getting fixed up for the day or whatever. These are changes that are signs that you're under significant stress, and it could be because of the finances. Anhedonia is so interesting. People don't even really think about this as a symptom of depression, and it's called anhedonia, and it's an inability to experience joy or pleasure. And so you may say, oh, I used to go, visit my grandchildren, or I used to go to the park, or I used to go to the museum, or I used to enjoy reading. Now I don't enjoy anything. That is a symptom of depression. And of course, emotional dysregulation, if you're going off on people and you're losing your temper frequently, that's a sign of financial stress and just being stressed out. And sometimes people do the opposite. They go numb, and you think that they don't have any feelings at all. They just kind of their mood is flat. Of course, if someone is isolating themselves, if you say, I don't want to be around anybody, I just want to stay home, that is not a good sign, right? And again, your family might be, you're not coming out of the room. Your friends are like, you're not coming out with us anymore. What's going on? And then, of course, again, development of compulsive behaviors, substance abuse, video game playing, gambling, pornography, spending. And so these are ways that people have of coping, and unfortunately, they're unhealthy ways of coping. And you look at these, the substance abuse, the gambling, the spending, those all require money. And so again, if you are in a financial bad situation already, the last thing you need is drugs or to be gambling or to be spending money. And so it's not going to be helpful. So these are definitely signs that you are overwhelmed, you're stressed out because of your finances, and you probably need to seek out some professional help. And it is out there, and it's amazing how quickly you can begin to see a change when you have someone that you can talk to, that you can share your feelings with, who's not going to judge you. And I love the counselors, but I also love the financial coaches at our agency, because we don't judge. We're here to listen. We're here to help in any way that we can. Now, I will say, The financial coaches will tell you the truth. They will, but sometimes we need to hear that challenge. So I don't know because I think that's the last. So here is the mental health counseling right here. If you are in the Houston area, again, we have a great website. You can go to familyhouston.org and you can look at see what services are available. We offer services in person and in the office. And we also offer on telehealth. So if you reside in the state of Texas, you can see one of our therapists in telehealth. We have different languages: English, Spanish, Bengali, Khmer, Vietnamese, and Urdu. So we also reach different language people groups. And then again, we accept insurance plans, EAP, and as I said before, we have a sliding scale. I don't know if there's any, here's our information. And if you want to take a picture of it or a screenshot of it, you can see that how you can reach us. And then there's some other resources there that are on there and things like that are important. We have a crisis hotline here in Houston. We have a couple of them actually. And then you can also see the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. And that last one is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. It's unfortunate, but sometimes financial issues put such stress on a family that there can become family violence can enter into the situation. So again, sometimes this is an opportunity for us to get some help. All right, so I don't know if there's any questions.
But there was one question I know that it got an email to me earlier.
Mhm.
Let me go to it. Okay.
Speaking when he said about the shopping, I mean, about the spending. I tell my niece and she said something crazy, but I said that pandemic saved me because I was just a shop. I just love to shop. And so when that pandemic and we couldn't move around and we couldn't, I was like, that really didn't work for me.
So shopping was a stress reliever for you.
A sale. Those the 40% off every month. I did that, and then how I would think it was okay. So when I buy, then I just do a few bags and take them to the shelf. But that was just my thinking. But like I said, that's the saving. So now I'm not, I still recovering.
Recovery. You're in.
I'm black, but yeah, I know that shopping. That's my that's fine.
You're still a recovering shopaholic.
Sure.
Mhm.
So I think another thing, it's so interesting. I think that sometimes there can be denial about the seriousness of our financial issues. And if I'm going out and eating, and shopping, I'm thinking I'm okay. I can spend money, and I'm in denial, and I don't want to face the fact. And so that can really, again, it's kind of a way of coping. And it doesn't make any sense because it's the opposite, but that's just the way the human mind works sometimes. Did you find the question?
Oh, it was actually more of my.
Okay, all right, okay. Okay.
What approach at high bills and what can you do to change the future trajectory?
Okay.
And there's some behavior. I will say that I do have a client because the great thing about Family Houston is because we have mental health services and financial stability, we can refer across programs. And so the counselors, when they do recognize that they have clients that can utilize budgeting tools or help with credit to help reduce the things that their stress or any mental health issues that they're working on with counseling, then they refer them to us. And I do have a client that going to Marshall's is a coping mechanism for her. And it's a real coping mechanism for her. And so we had to discuss, and for me, I don't want to overstep as a coach, and because I don't want to blur the line of providing therapy or anything like that. But I also wanted to explain to her that, okay, so you go and it makes you feel better when you purchase the things. So I asked her, well, you get home and then you have a different emotion. And that different emotion is a negative one. So then I was like, well, what happens if you just go and just return the items? And she was just like, I just never thought about that. Because it's like, okay, I feel good in the moment, but now that I'm home and I'm looking at all this stuff I bought and I don't need it, or I get home and I realize it's things that I don't like. And then also, like, you can have the guilt of like overspending. And so I was like, well, have you ever just thought of just taking it back? And so I'm gonna have to follow up on that. But I was like, it's okay to return items. So if you do get in, like, if you do have that, like where you go shopping all the time, you overspend, it's okay to return. Nobody's gonna judge you. I mean, well, we don't know. We don't know. But yes, exactly. I was getting ready to say, who cares? Because trust me, I've had just family members, when it came to shopping, they say they'll go into a store and usually it's centered around like a smaller, like boutique store. Well, I feel like because I walked into the store, I'm obligated to buy something even though I don't want to. And I'm just like, no, you're not. You don't have to feel the stress of having to spend money because some people they do feel like the person is going to judge them for coming in and not buying anything, or feel like, oh, you wasted my time. Like some people, they stress and they overthink, and that causes them to spend money and buy things that they don't want to buy. Yes. Yes, and that's where we come in, where we talk about 40% of Americans admit to overspending. Pierre, do you want? Okay. Thank you so much, Pierre. Thank you so much. You too. But that's why I want to go into, like, 40% of Americans admit to overspending to impress others, because that's a real thing that happens. Trust, I see it all. I see it amongst my friends. I see it on social media. I just see where people like I'm gonna bring a club culture where people go and they spend thousands of dollars on these experiences just to impress others on the internet that they don't know, or to gain followers of people that they don't personally know. And this can lead to some like debt issues. It can lead to overdrafting. So that's why, and again, that can be connected to their mental health. And so among those who overspend to impress, 56% went into debt, because again, you're spending because you want to impress, you don't want to look broke. Like Pierre says, sometimes if you're going through some type of mental health crisis, that might lead to like overspending because you want to feel better, or again, you want people to look at you a certain way. And then also 78% of adults who feel the strain of keeping up with others' lifestyle can cause them stress. So just trying to keep up with this perceived lifestyle, then people overstress. And that can lead to mental health issues as well, especially when you can't keep up. Like, cause I've even had like, just within my friendship circle, I had a friend that was like, sometimes it's, oh no, actually it was speaking about another friend in the group, and they were like, you have to understand that this person might feel some kind of way because they're younger and they're not at the level as the older individuals in the group who have been well in their careers for years. They done built up a certain income level where they can live a certain lifestyle. But then you have a younger gentleman who's just starting on his career journey. He's in his 20s. He's just getting out of college. And so he feels the pressure to keep up. And so it's like sometimes you got to show empathy to those individuals because, again, they feel that pressure, that strain to want to keep up with others because they don't want to feel judged, or is that whole idea they don't want people to see them as broke or not having the means. And then lastly, nearly 70% of Americans say financial uncertainty has made them feel depressed or anxious. So this is where you don't know where your next meal is going to come from. You don't know if you're going to be able to pay your rent or utilities. Also, like, even with what's going on in the world today, I'm not going to get political, but just thinking about what's going on in the world today that's causing the cost of things to increase. So gas is increasing, and what happened with the increase of gas? I mean, our groceries are increasing. If you need to travel, like if you have family out of town, they are already saying, United already said that they're going to increase their tickets. So just imagine if you had this vacation planned and now you don't know, like, can I still afford this because the gas prices are skyrocketing. And again, with high gas prices, that also leads to higher prices across the board because the companies, they have to deliver products. They have to, people are importing things in, so they're going to throw the cost of that, it trickling down to us. So then I do want to talk about some cultural and generational influences on our personal finances. So when it comes to cultural influences, this is our beliefs about money, debt, and saving that can differ across different cultures. So if you think about like, it can be, based around your race, it can be based around the part of town you grew up in, just your family unit. It can be based, your culture can be based around the city you live in, the state, the country. So, how your beliefs around money, debt, and savings is going to be based on the culture that you was raised in and what you've learned about these three topics. Then there's family expectations may impact financial decisions. So like Pierre said, you might have a change in family structure, and now your grown kids are back living with you, and now you have higher utility bills. You have to buy more groceries to help them out. Or you have older parents that need support. And so now they're coming to live with you, or you have to support where they're living, if they're like in a nursing home or assisted living. So that means that can be increased finances for you. Kids going off to college, so helping them pay for education, as well as like weddings. When your kids get married, they expecting you. Hey, so how much you chipping in? And then the other thing is you could be getting married and you have family expecting you to provide certain things at the wedding, or and it can be just even like the food and these decoration things like that. So that can affect your financial decisions. You might have family that want you to have your wedding here versus somewhere else. That can affect your financial decisions. And so, I mean, there's a lot of family expectations that can drive how we decide on our finances, and just being able to navigate those. And then lastly, community values influence spending habits and priority. So again, like I said, even the community that you grow up in, and what that community values can influence your spending habits and priorities as well. So again, you might grow up in a community, or you might be living in a community where everybody's always competing with each other. And it can even be down, because I'm trying to think, my mom, it was arguing about yard of the month. And and so again, that can influence you wanting to spend more money because everybody's competing against each other. Or sometimes it's like your neighbors getting new cars, things like that. Lately it's been the what is it? The prom send off. And yes, so like all across social media is a community as well. And so all across social media, just what the community, and there's different communities on social media. And usually we're a part of the community that we most likely relate the most to. And so, and what people are doing within that community can influence us to spend more money. Just like, and that can be the same thing as influencers that you follow. That's part of your digital community, because you're following and engaging with certain influencers so they can influence your spending habits. That can shift your priorities around, because some people might decide like, well, I'd rather buy this new bag versus pay a utility bill on time. But yeah, no, the prom send off was, I was like, it's a lot, but I'm not going to judge or complain. I saw a lot of people complaining about it. I feel like everyone should celebrate, and that can add to family expectations too. Just the expectation to spend a lot of money on prom and graduations and birthday parties and family events and things like that. And then you're seeing it across social media. So you think, okay, well, I want to do that too. And that can that can affect our financial decisions. And then we have generational influences. So we have our older generations, they value job stability, savings, and avoiding debt. And as a financial coach, I've been in financial coaching for years. And I've been here at Family Houston for 16 years. And I've seen a lot of people, a lot of different ages, finances. And this is true. Older generations, they tend to be a lot better at saving money. And then of course, they have better retirement options and pensions too. As well as everything was, I'm gonna save up and I'm gonna buy it in cash. There's not a lot of trying to like purchase things on credit. It's like if you ain't got it, you're just not gonna get it until you have it. Now our younger generations are more focused on experiences, technology, and investing early. So when you're looking at, I would even say millennials and younger, these generations is all about experiences. Like I said, you have the club culture where the experience of sections and buying a lot of bottles and things like that, or travel, so taking like luxury vacations. So when it comes to these experiences, also it's like, how can I show this on social media? Everything is wrapped around what can I show on social media to impress people, or whatever motivates them to take certain experiences. Also, we were raised in an age of technology. So some of us, we got half and half. So we had a time period up to like maybe like the late 90s, early 2000s, where we had no access to any type of vast technology. And then all of a sudden, we got computers in our homes and everything is progressing.
That's because we had to wait until everybody went to bed. So because you had to use that dial-up, and
Yes.
you on top your mama's phone line trying to be on the internet and stuff. You had to make sure that wasn't nobody using the phone. So the line was busy. I tried calling you.
My parents, they got a second line just for that.
Oh,
Just for that. Cause my mom, she got tired of arguing with us because we would be in the chat room. And we were like, well, we talking to our friends. And they were like, no. She was like, she got a second line.
yeah. That's, I got, she got me.
Uh-huh.
She was always, so that's.
Oh yeah, I was like the young kids of this day just don't remember just being on the phone and your parents picking up the phone and embarrassing you. But so I'm gonna say, with technology, that means that's a higher cost because as technology gets more advanced, that's like iPhones. I don't even know before an iPhone gonna be $10,000. The way like every year it keeps increasing. But those are things that the younger generation, like they prioritize those things, and that drives how they spend their money. And then we have economic events. So you also got to think about like groups of people that went through different types of economic events. So recessions, student loan crisis. So like millennials, we went through student loan crisis. I feel like we went through some recessions too. And then there was like the financial crisis with home loans? Yeah, 2007. And then, you had the Great Depression. So all of these economic events shapes different generations on how they spend money. So I would say the student loan crisis shapes the Gen Z because, is it Gen X? Oh, Gen X. Because Gen X and millennials, we were highly affected by the student loan crisis. So if we have kids, our kids see how we were affected by it and how there's a lot of student loan debt. And so like you have like younger generations who are afraid about going to college because they don't want to be in debt like their parents were in debt with student loans. And so they don't want to deal with the student loans. And then also the idea of getting degrees and then you're not working in an industry where your degree, so it's almost like you kind of lost out on that investment. And then of course schools closing down that you got degrees from. And so now those degrees are almost considered not useless. So that shapes, like it shapes multiple generations because it shaped the people that it happened to, and then their children, it shaped them, so it changed their how they handle money, and then just their attitudes around money. So when it comes to cultural pressure to spend more money, again, there's a social expectations. So this is keeping up with family, friends, and community traditions. Like I said, the younger guy in the friendship group, he wanted to keep up with the older guys that were more established. So he just felt that pressure. And then there's the celebrations and traditions. So we talked about the weddings, the holidays, the birthdays, cultural events can encourage the pressure to spend more money. Now we got to add in prompts and hey, if you're trying to be a business owner, that is probably a good business to get into. Especially if you can build I don't know what a screen, like I don't even know how. I need to get on YouTube and see how they built it out, but it's a good business to start now. But then the lifestyle pressures, so desire to maintain a certain image or status. This can be in your fashion, cars, gadgets, as well as social media influence. Every time you get on social media, they want you to buy something. And it's sometimes it's hard to kind of to get away from that. And then they make it easier and easier for you to purchase things on social media, because you can just sometimes you can click on the actual picture and it'll send you to a website. Oh yeah, TikTok shop. I'm not gonna even get on TikTok shopping because
They not gonna give you all the 6 5.
yes. Yeah, cause first it started with Amazon Prime, and like you could quickly purchase, because Amazon created a convenient way for people to order things and then get it in a faster manner. And so what that does, that increases spending and they're making them a lot of money. Now you got TikTok shop. And so with TikTok shopping, you just scrolling through videos, and every other video, you can just click on the video and it'll send you to the product that the person is talking about. And then you can just immediately purchase it.
And it's something that you don't even need and didn't even know you wanted. It just because
Guess what I got in my
It's
closet?
availability.
Guess
Because
what
it's
I got
there.
in my closet? You know the little spin brushes that you supposed to for your tub that you could clean with? I use it 2 times. I fell victim to TikTok shop. This Yes, it is.
You know, I'm telling you, you can't live without this.
Yes.
They show it on.
Oh yeah, because that little spin brush is hard to maneuver.
You know, all that stuff.
So would any of that be attributed to some type of mental something that makes you feel like you just have to get it, you have to buy it, you can't live without it kind of thing?
Yeah.
That's gotta have a mental impact on some level or another.
Yeah,
too.
because it's almost like you rationalize like that you need this particular item.
Mhm.
Like I told myself that I'm tired of like because my tub is kind of low. So I was like, well, I'm tired of like leaning over and
Okay.
scrubbing, and then this is gonna help me not do this back breaking work of cleaning because you know, some people they clean, and I'm like, I'm tired of like my back hurting. But then I get the gadget, and it's hard to use. So now I'm back to just doing it the old fashioned way, and the gadget is.
Like people make me think that I'm the address labels on my trash can. So I got red address labels on my trash can. Because it will go down. Yeah, on the trash can.
Oh, for in front of your house, so they'll know who.
I have red labels that have my address on. People make me think I need it.
And those sites, the thing is, what we don't understand is that the marketing departments for retail outlets, they work with psychologists, and what they do is they understand how people shop and what motivates people to buy more things. They understand that people emotionally spend more money, whether you're happy or sad, it doesn't matter. So they create the ads to appeal to those different emotions. So again, like if it's an item that appeals to someone like tired of bending over scrubbing your tub, get this scrub brush. And so then you like, well, you know what? I'm tired of my back hurting every time I clean my tub.
Right.
So
Right,
let me click on what? I want to get instead of it being $49.99, it's gonna be $20.
So now I'm getting a deal. Now I'm getting a deal.
Yeah, now I'm getting a deal. And so what happened is even the deal is a psychological thing because that spin brush is probably not even worth a cost $50 to even make. Really, they're still making a profit off the discounted price. They just put the higher price because they want you to feel like you're getting something for less. And I even see it on certain and I don't know if it which clothing store. I don't know if it was like this website, Pretty Little Things or Boohoo. They're like this fast fashion. So when we're talking about like fashion, they're called fast fashion websites.
Now I got a commercial on my phone.
We gotta start talking about it, gonna be popping up. But like these websites, what they would do, they had the higher price and they'll slash it. So it'll say like the shirt is $50, but then it'll be on sale for 50% off or 60% off. But really, the 60% off price is what the real price was. So I think they actually got sued because it was manipulation. So there is like retail, they do have a responsibility to not like, you know, lie about their pricing. But that does happen because again, social media does pressure you to buy more things because you know every influencer is doing some type of haul on items from Amazon different retailers and stuff. So it makes it a whole lot harder because, you know, when you go to a store to shop, once you leave that store, then you have to actively go back. So if you really want that item, you have to actively get in your car, get dressed, get in your car, drive back to the store to purchase it. But when it comes to online, you really it's so impulsive. You don't have the opportunity to think it over and say, okay, why am I purchasing this? So I personally like to put things on wish lists. That's my way of saying I'm giving myself 24 hours to see if I'm gonna go back to this item. I put it on wish list. And then also I think about, is this something I need now? Or is this something I need later? So like if you a person that you're a social person, or you know, every time there's something you're part of that always have themed events and things like that, then just instead of buying it right then and say, oh well, you know, I might need this in August because I can use, just put it on a wish list. So then when the time comes, if you do need it, then you already have it saved and you can go back to it, or you can decide on something else. And then the last thing is keeping up with the Joneses. This is a term that's been around in society for decades. And this is just the pressure to match other spending patterns. And again, like it's so back in the day, it was based on your neighbors or your family group or your friendship group, like the people like that are close to you. But now we have access to everybody across the world. So we're not just keeping up with the people within our small, immediate social groups. We're keeping up with people across the world, like people that we don't know. And I'm going to say people they don't even know we exist. And we're trying to keep up with someone who don't even know that you actually exist because, you know, you millions of miles away and you're just watching their content online. So we just looking at these different like cultural pressures and how we can navigate around them to make sure that we're not putting ourselves into a financial crisis. So just moving into budgeting, because I do want to talk about like some budgeting strategies that help us navigate around financial crisis, or to help us avoid a financial crisis. So many people live paycheck to paycheck and are struggling to keep up with their expenses. So budgeting, it helps us take control of our finances. It's going to help us reduce stress as well as build the financial security that we're looking for. And so the rest of the presentation is going to guide you through effective budgeting techniques just to help you navigate your finances and build your financial security. So I want to give the definition of a budget plan, because we hear budget, the first thing we think about, I got to sacrifice, I can't do what I want to do. But really, a budget is just a plan to manage your money by monitoring your income and expenses. So all you're doing is tracking your money. It doesn't mean that you have to change anything. It just means that you know how much income you have and where all of your money is going. And so before we start creating our budget plan, we want to assess our financial situation. So we're going to track all of our income and cash flow. And this is just cash. So whether you get it from work, side jobs, you have some type of passive income, you're receiving like SNAP benefits, child support, any like SSI, SSDI, VA disability. So anytime you receive cash, I even put cash returns, like if I return something to a store and now that money is back in my pocket, I even include returns. Or if someone pays me back and they Zelle me money, because maybe we had to split something and they Zelle me money, I include that cash that you getting back into your budget. So when you're looking at your bank account, you're gonna look at any deposits that you have or transfers into your bank account, that is going to count as income on your budget. And then next, we're going to track all of our expenses. So this is listing all outgoing cash flow that is fixed expenses and variable expenses. So fixed expenses, rent, mortgage, utilities, subscriptions, car note, insurance, gym membership. So anything that's going to reoccur every single month, whether it has a fixed amount or the amount fluctuates a little bit, but you're going to always have this expense every single month unless there's a change. And then variable expenses, these are things that may or may not happen every single month, but the amount that you're spending can vary from month to month. So you think about your daily living, like groceries, shopping, personal supplies, entertainment. If you're donating or like any like religious or charity donations, gifts, because it's always somebody's birthday. And May, I saw a meme. I wish I could pull this meme up because they said for May, there's Cinco de Mayo, there's graduations, there's birthdays, there's weddings, there's Mother's Day. And they said, who? They said, who designed May?
And the graduation is always, you know, like, so
Prom too, yeah.
if it's like, who is this? And then, you know, I don't even know these people. It's those grandsons. It's terrible.
It's, they know Miss Cynthia give good gifts, so.
Oh, yeah, send it to her. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they said May is the worst month. We have too many things happening in May. And then lastly, we're going to take this information and it's going to help us identify our spending habits. So our spending habits are the way we spend every single month, whether or not it fluctuates. So if you are someone who eat out a lot, then every month your eating out bill is probably going to be a lot because you eat out a lot. Or like you said, you used to shop all the time. So your shopping bill consistently every month is going to be maybe around the same amount every single month. So we can tell what type of person, like what type of financial situation we're in when we are gathering this information. So you can tell if you're a saver, if you're a spender. You can also understand your relationship with money, as well as like we talked about, like the financial triggers and things like that. You can understand all of that information when you start tracking your income and tracking your expenses. And then also it's going to help us be able to make the changes that we need to make. So here's some ways to track your money. Your bank statements, whether you get it online or you get it mailed to your home, because that's going to have all your monthly transactions and it's going to let you know like how well you did within that month on your spending. Then your online and mobile banking. So online banking can be used from a secure computer to view your accounts and do banking transactions. Banking apps can be downloaded on your phone to view your accounts and do banking transactions. Also, some banks have budgeting tools built into their website and built into their apps. So you can check your spending throughout the month by looking at the budgeting tools within your bank website and mobile app. And that can if you need to check yourself and say like, okay, I'm already on the verge of overspending, so I need to cut back, or let me double check that these auto pays came through before I purchase something else. Or so online and mobile banking make it very convenient for you to monitor your money. And then for those who are not very tech savvy, which are receiving your monthly statements in the mail. Also, you have your customer service numbers for your bank if you need to check real-time information. So in that case, you can check your current balance to see where your balance is. You can check for latest transactions, whether they posted or pending. Check deposits, as well as speak to bankers if there's any issues or matters or questions that you have. And then lastly, for individuals who utilize cash, you're gonna have to manually track. It's a daunting task, but it's the only way to keep track of cash, because you don't have that digital footprint to track the spending for you. So with cash, you can use a notebook to record. There's transactions, or I call them the checkbook register. There's things that are similar, like tracking sheets that you can use to track cash. Do banks still have
I was just about to ask that
checkbook
question.
registers? Because
Oh,
I feel like checkbook registers were great tools to track your spending. Now, I was terrible at it, I will admit, when I got my first checking account. And yeah, I was 18. So when I got my first checking account with Washington Mutual, and I'm laughing because they don't exist anymore.
yeah, but it's a long time ago.
But my parents, my mom made me learn how to use the checkbook register. It never added up. It never made sense. I don't know what I was doing, but that was before we had access to seeing because I think you could see they were starting to do online banking, but you didn't really have like that digital access, like that convenience that we have now. So yeah, you have to have that little checkbook register to track your expenses.
Yeah, of course,
Yes.
And my mom's still thing was, if you don't have it in the bank, you can't get it out of the bank.
Right.
That was from day one, like you open this account, you have 18 to 16 or whatever, and the first thing my mom said is, if you don't have it in there, you can't get that. And I remember she said she called something up to the house, where you insufficient of that, but I was like, well, what is it? You don't have it in there, you can't get it out there. So,
oh yeah, I remember when I first overdraft.
I ain't got $20 in there, I ain't trying to get $20 out of there.
When I first overdrafted my checking account, and it was for like $1 something, and my mom was like, "You overdrafted on $1?"
That's what they was charging you $35.
Right.
That was like
And
$50.
they charge you $35
for $1.
for each transaction, every transaction that hit your account. they would charge you an overdraft fee. But they changed it now, but
The transactions have to be over a certain dollar amount before they can charge.
yeah, and I don't think I think at some point you can also ask for your card to not work or you can deny the overdraft protection. Because yeah, banks got in trouble for that. They definitely got in trouble for that. But so my mom told me you should always keep at least about $5 to $20 cash. So then if it is something you're paying $1 for, you just pay cash. The other way to track, another good way to track cash spending is the envelope system. So with the envelope system is where you categorize your cash into different envelopes. So you have one for your utilities, you have one for your rent, one for groceries, shopping, entertainment, and so forth. And so as you take money out of the envelope, the idea is to write down where that money went. So then that way you can keep track of how that money is being spent. And then once you spend all the money out of the envelope, then you can't spend anymore. That money is gone. Can't eat out anymore. You can't shop. You already spent your budgeted amount. Another good way when it comes to daily living categories, put in the receipt in so you can track your spending with your receipts. So once that cash leaves the envelope, then you put the receipt into the envelope. So then at the end of the month, you can add up what you spent. Because you might have some money left over, or again, you might realize that you overspent for that category because you had to get money from other envelopes. So here are some budgeting tools. So everybody budget different. We all have different ways we want to track. Some people, they love to write everything down. So budget journals might be a good option for those who like to journal and write things down. As well as if you're using mostly cash, then a budget journal will have tracking sheets within it. If you are a spreadsheet person and you need to see things digitally on your computer, and then you also want things that you wanted to add things up for you so you don't have to do the math, then there's Excel and Google Sheets. And you can Excel and Google Sheets, they have templates within their programs that you can use for free. Or you can create your own. You can create your own simple budget form, because budgeting is simple math. Because all you're really doing is just adding and subtracting. So you can create simple spreadsheets on those applications. And then vertex42.com. That website is a spreadsheet website. So they have spreadsheets for everything. So anything you got going on, if you're a spreadsheet person, you can find it on there. As a financial coach, I utilize a lot of the financial tools that they have on there. So the budget sheet that I use with my clients is from that website. Our in-person attendee, you have a copy of the budget sheet in your packet. That's from Vertex 42. Now, I done changed some things around because the little category, I changed some of the names in the categories based on what I saw a lot of clients have. So if you see like Netflix on there and Hulu, because majority of my clients have those subscriptions, Amazon. But the great thing about the spreadsheet that you can customize them to what your spending look like. 'Cause we all spend differently. We all have different types of spending.
And I'll be sending out a copy of that budget spreadsheet too, so
Mhm.
electronic, so you
Yeah.
can make,
Mhm.
make adjustments and changes however it is that you see fit to
Yes.
best tailor your specific needs.
And then that spreadsheet can also be uploaded into Google Sheets. So if you don't have access to Excel, you can upload it into Google Sheets. And then Vertex 42, you can download either Google or Excel. But they have good debt calculators. So if you try to do debt payoffs, so they have a lot of good financial spreadsheets that can make your financial situation less stressful. Then we have a budgeting apps. I don't have budgeting apps that I really kind of talk about because most of them now you have to pay for. My go-to was mint.com, but Credit Karma actually they blended it somehow. So so I know Credit Karma has the budgeting tool that used to be mint.com. So I haven't personally tried it yet, but that is a tool you can look into if you want to try it. And so basically what budgeting apps do is you can connect to your bank account and it categorizes all of your spending for you. You can create budget plans. There's some like that identify spending that you might want to cut out. Like, so if you have subscriptions and stuff that you're no longer using, but again, there's not a whole lot of free options anymore. Most of the budgeting apps, they do require it can be a small fee, up to like depending on what the app offers, it can be a higher fee. So I don't really talk about the different ones because I want you guys to have free options.
If for those folks that are tech savvy or whatnot, you can always use AI to do it too. So if you have a spreadsheet or have your numbers, you can put it in there and tell it to create you a budget plan or create you a spreadsheet based on the information that you just gave it and let it create it for you. So.
Oh, yeah. And then my bank, my online banking, like I mentioned earlier, the online banking, they have budgeting tools as well. So I can go on the app. Now on the app, they used to have like a little section you can go to with my bank, but now I have to go. They have like a little AI box, so you have to type it in. So now I got to type it in and say, okay, what's my grocery spending? And so it'll tell me like, so far you spent X amount of dollars. But if you go to the website, you can see your whole spending report. And I've noticed a lot of banks, most major banks have it available. So you don't even have to pay for a budget app and you don't have to worry about connecting or linking to your bank if your bank already have that program built into it. And then also some banks, they do allow you to recategorize things because sometimes the system, you might have bought something from somewhere, but the system recognizes it as something else. And then you have to move it around because you could have bought food at a gas station and then you want that to be part of your groceries, but it has a label as gas because they see the gas station name. So check your banks just to see if they have that tool available. And then again, the envelope system. And so envelope system, just simple. You can just get regular envelopes that you mail, like those that you use for letters. Amazon, and we just talked about spending on Amazon.
Dollar Tree.
Uh,
Has a box of envelopes for $1.50.
Yes, you can go to Dollar Tree and get a box of envelopes. But if you want something fancy, Amazon.
I work for Walmart, so I think it's kind of good. Like, I work for
Yes.
That does the envelope system.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, so she always wants colored envelopes, so.
Yeah, they have binders on Amazon. It's an envelope system binder, so the envelopes are plastic, they're reusable, and then they have like the little trackers where you can handwrite your tracking. Instead of like putting it all out on your envelope, they have like a little fancy tracker and stuff like that. Not that I'm telling you guys to go spend some money, but it's a good tool to use. And then the budgeting journals, I've seen them at Walmart, Target. I don't know if I've seen them at the Dollar Tree. I'm gonna have to check the book section to see if they have them at the Dollar Tree. And then of course Amazon have a lot of different budgeting journals at different prices as well. So just some best practices. So again, we want to get into the routine because if you know that having a certain routine helps with stress because it can definitely help reduce your stress around certain things because you have that routine just kind of built in. And so we do want to create a routine around our budgeting practices. So just completing our budget spreadsheets using our bank statements and transaction history. So we're getting accurate information because that's going to help us understand where our money is coming and going. And that can help relieve some stress and anxiety around our finances. Because now we're in the know of what's going on with our money. Then also, if you're using mostly cash, you want to track your spending by saving receipts. And then you want to write down at the time of the transaction because you don't want it to be like later on and you forgot, or it's the end of the month and now you're struggling to remember those transactions and how much you spend. And then using your bill statements. So you should be checking your bill statement, whether it's auto pay or not. You should be reviewing your monthly bill statements because you need to check for any additional fees. You need to check if any rates have increased. So getting into like the routine of checking your bill statements every single month. That can help you decide if you need to cut something out that you're not using anymore. And then the routine of picking one day of the month, preferably the last week of the month or like the first week of the month, right around the first and last day of the month to go over your spending for the last month. So we're at the beginning, the first week of May. So this is a very perfect time to sit down with your transaction history for April and categorize everything and see what your spending looks like. And then create a plan for May. So like we said, we had Cinco de Mayo, we got graduation, we have birthdays, we have Mother's Day.
Memorial kickoff.
We have Memorial Day.
And then Memorial Day.
We have a busy month. So we don't want to stress over how our month is gonna go. And so that can kind of help with like with your emotions around your spending if you're sitting down and you're making a plan. Because with that plan, you're gonna put the total amount of income that you're expecting for the month, and then you're gonna start prioritizing your spending. So you're gonna start with what is most important, which usually should be your basic needs first. And then you're gonna start trickling down into basic needs, obligations, and then wants. And then once you start running low on income, that's when you need to make decisions on whether or not something is going to happen or not. But, having that plan is gonna help you reduce the, anxiety, like how am I gonna get through the month? Then doing a weekly check-in. So it's not just a once a month routine. We need to be checking in with our finances daily, weekly. Cause we need to make sure that we're sticking to our plans. Also, if you have to make adjustments, if one more person send you a graduation invite and now you have to make an adjustment, now you have to make an adjustment. So things happen throughout the month. All the time, it can be an emergency. So checking in with ourselves, it's just making sure that we're sticking to our plans and we're sticking to what we're wanting to do. And also, if there's the stress around savings, that budget plan is going to tell you if you have money to save before the end of the month. So you can put money into your savings at the beginning of the month versus waiting to the end. And then just some quick takeaways. Budgeting is going to give you control over your finances. And just having that, sometimes our stress around finances is because we're not in control and we don't know what's going on with our money. We don't know where our money, we just know the money is gone. We know we got it and now it's gone and we don't know what happened to it. So when we're doing the budget plans, when we're tracking our income and spending, it's going to give us control over how we want to spend our money. It's going to also allow us to kind of like not listen to the noise. So the noise is the influences, the things that are influencing us to make financial decisions that we don't want to make. Then we're going to cut unnecessary expenses. So like I said, that noise that's telling you to purchase things that you don't necessarily need. So that allow you to say, well, you know what, this month, instead of spending $300 on shopping, I'm going to spend $100 and I'm going to see what happens. Or I'm going to cut these subscriptions because I haven't been watching Netflix, and now Netflix is $50. I'm joking, but I hope that don't happen. But like every time we turn around, subscriptions are increasing. And so you can sit there and say, okay, am I watching this streaming service? Am I using this membership? I'm going to cut this out. Or if there's nothing that we can really cut out, how can we explore additional income sources? So what are ways we can increase our income? And then we want to manage debt wisely and build an emergency fund. So when we manage our debt, then that means we're not stressing over the debts that we have. Because having debt is not bad. What happens is when we have too much debt than we can handle, then we get into a situation where it can cause a financial crisis, and then that can lead to the mental health, like mental health stressors and things like that. But when we're managing our debt wisely, we're getting, if we have to get a car loan, we get a car loan that fit into our budget. If we're utilizing a credit card, we're only spending what we can afford to pay back. Then you won't have those stresses because you're managing well. And then when we have an emergency fund for ourselves, that eliminates the stress around an emergency. So if you have a flat tire, or like Pierre says, we have hurricanes all the time. Now you have to fix your roof. Or you have to pay a deductible because you got into a car accident, or you have to go to the doctor, so you have to pay. Sometimes you have to pay a deductible for your medical insurance before things are covered. So when we have that emergency fund, that means that we don't have to stress over an already stressful situation. And we don't have to try to find someone to borrow money from. Also, it means that we don't have to go into more debt in order to cover an emergency. An emergency fund don't have to be this extreme amount of money. It can just be based on what if you're thinking about a job loss or loss of income, it's just based on your basic needs. It's not going to include like your wants. It's just going to be your basic needs, or just having a small pot of money to cover small emergencies. So your emergency fund amount is going to be based on what's going on in your financial situation. And then, like I said, create a routine. So we want to stay consistent and we want to adjust as needed. So having a consistent routine that adds another layer of being able to manage your finances as well as reducing that stress and anxiety around your financial situation. So actually, this rolls us into emergency funds. So life is full of unexpected events that can disrupt our finances. So having an emergency fund can help us weather financial storms without going into debt. So what can we do today that our future selves would thank us for? So just having that money set aside or starting to save today means in the future, you're going to be happy that you saved that money. No matter if it was months ago or years ago, you're going to be happy that you saved that money. And so with an emergency fund, why it's so important is because it leads to financial stability. So it's going to make sure that we have that safety net. So if something unexpected happened, then we don't have to keep stressing over how we're going to pay for it. It's going to help us avoid debt. So we're not needing to open more credit or get loans or payday loans or title loans, like all these different loan products that can lead to higher debt, which leads to more stress because we already got it. We already have the money. Also, it provides peace of mind. So knowing that we have financial resources to handle any unexpected challenges, and it allows us to focus on what matters most. So when you have an emergency, you have a flat tire, what's your main focus? Get your tire fixed. But if you have to add on the layer of having to find the funds to get your tire fixed, then that can just throw everything off. It can prolong when you get your tire fixed, as well as how much you spend on getting the tire fixed, because credit is going to cost you more money. So it provides us a peace of mind. And then lastly, improved credit scores. So avoiding debt by using our emergency fund can help us maintain a good credit score, and then making it easier to access loans or credit when needed. So we never want to use credit as an extension of income, because when we're using credit as an extension of income, then that leads to higher debt payments, higher interest rates, which can also lead to us having a drop in our credit score, because if you can't afford the payments, then you're going to start missing payments. If you're using the credit card limit as additional income, you're going to keep swiping the credit card. And so when we eliminate the need for credit in a time of emergency, then that means we have lower credit card balances. We have lower debt payments, monthly debt payments. So then that results in a higher credit score. And so when we're going to build our emergency funds, we need to set a goal, determine how much you want to save, and then set a realistic timeline on how you, when you want to achieve it. So that's where that budget comes in. We also want to automate our savings. So you don't want to think about it. Just set up an auto pay to go from your checkings to your savings account, or have direct deposit from your employer. Lastly, we can reduce the expense. So I said earlier, you decide that you don't want to spend $300 shopping, you want to spend 100. So what happens to that 200? So that 200 can go into your savings account. But you have to actively move it there. You can't leave it in your checking. You have to actively move that money that you want to save to your savings account. And that's what I call paying yourself first. So you already determine what that savings amount is going to be for the month, and you actively move it to your savings account. So then you're spending less on certain expenses.
Get in the habit, or for folks that are listening, or even myself sometimes, of paying yourself first, or treating yourself like a bill, so that you can build that emergency fund before anything else. Because I've heard a lot of financial folks and experts and whatever's, and what's her name, Mel? What's her name? Mel. The financial lady. Okay, it's gonna come to me. Robbins, about creating the emergency funds and paying yourself first. Make sure that off the top, before you pay any bill or do anything else, regardless if it's $20, $25, $50 or whatever, and then you slowly increase that amount until you get to a comfortable level. How do you get your mind wrapped around, I'm a bill, I need to do that first before anything else?
So first you gotta have a purpose, because usually if someone has a purpose for saving, then they're gonna prioritize it. So if you really truly have the mindset that I want to have an emergency fund, or maybe you're saving up for a vacation, or you're saving up for graduation, you have a kid about to graduate. So you basically gave that saving, like you created a purpose. So now you're gonna prioritize saving up for that particular thing in order to be able to afford to do whatever it is you're wanting to do in the future. Now, with emergency funds, you really have to trick yourself into saying that I don't want to have to stress over an emergency, so I'm going to set aside this money. And so the trick can be, as soon as you get paid, you go ahead and transfer that money over, and you transfer it into a savings account that's not connected to your check-ins. I would say preferably at another bank, because you got to actively tell yourself, I'm going to put this money into savings before I spend it. And you have to do it as soon as you receive the money, you have to put it into savings. Because otherwise, if you just wait around, like people who wait, they say, oh, well, I'm going to see what's happening at the end of the month, and then I'm going to put my money into savings. Well, at the end of the month, you don't know what's going to happen during that month. That money might be gone. So I think manually transferring, or the auto pay right when you get paid, or just having the direct deposit from your employer, that's the easiest way to trick yourself.
You'll never even see it.
Yeah, you never see it. The ideal is the employer direct deposit, because you're never going to see it in your checking account because it's already gone. And then when you have it in a different bank account, so it's out of sight, out of mind, then you're not going to pinch off of it because you don't see it on a regular basis and you don't know what's available. So then when it get to the time that you need the money, you're gonna be shocked at how much money you have in your savings.
Yeah, I think that's probably my problem, because as soon as I see it, it's like, oh, I got some money right there in my
Right.
account. Like, oh, can I go do with this? It's like, oh, I think that is my problem, that I don't need to see it. Because I can move it, it's there. But
Yeah.
as soon as I open up the account and I'm thinking, okay, everything else is paid.
It's gonna
oh,
move around.
yeah.
It's gonna move right back to the checking
And
account.
then I'm gonna move it right back over there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is
so-
my problem. That is
Yeah,
my
that's
problem.
because even like from my own personal experience, when it's the same thing, like when you cannot see it, then you're not gonna want to use it because, and then also setting up inconveniences to use it. So when you have to transfer from that other bank account to your regular checking, it might take like 3 to 4 days. And by that time, you might not even want whatever you thought you was about to buy with it. And then also, anytime you increase money, tell yourself like this increase of income, I'm gonna save. Before I'm not gonna change my expenses. I'm not gonna go get a newer car. If I got a new salary, I'm not gonna go get a newer car, or I'm not gonna increase my, some people, they'll go get they're renting, they'll go get a fancier apartment. Like, I'm not gonna increase my expenses. I'm gonna put that difference into savings. Um, or if you get extra income, so you like doing some side work, I'm doing this extra job or this side work specifically for my savings. So you're already like, you're constantly telling yourself, this is for my savings. So it's only gonna go. And if you do side work and it's a direct deposit, just have it go directly to your savings. Don't even have it go to your checking account because you're like, ooh, I got this. Let me let you a little bit of this,
Extra.
and I'm gonna send the rest to my savings. No, have it go directly to that savings account that you cannot see or touch. If you get your tax return, what does the tax return people? What do they ask you? Where do you want your money to go? Savings, just have it go straight to your savings. Because again, that income is gone before you see it. You don't even see that tax refund because it's already gone into your savings account. So you can't like say, "Ooh, I got X amount of dollars. Let me go and get this thing I've been wanting." And it's okay to treat yourself when you get your taxes. It's okay, but also keep in mind, like how much of it that you're gonna use, and try to like put the bulk of. If you don't need it for basic necessities, then you can decide like, okay, let me put 99% of it into my savings, and this 1% I'm gonna go buy whatever this thing I've been wanting. And then also, we want to make sure that we're doing regular contributions. Even if you use money from your emergency fund, you still want to keep your regular contributions. You want to make adjustments based on changes with your life or budget. Like you might have a change in your family, so you might have to adjust what that emergency fund look like, especially if you have a new child. So now you got to think about, I got to cover this child in an emergency. So I need to adjust how much I have in my emergency fund because I have a child now and I might have to cover emergencies for that child. And then again, anytime you get additional income, just have the mindset that I'm going to put this in my emergency fund. And then also, we want to make sure that our emergency funds are a revolving saving. So just like a credit card, you have a credit card limit, and Capital One says you got $3,000 to spend, and then you go spend 1,000, and then now you got 2,000 left, but then you pay that 1,000 back to Capital One. Now you got 3,000 again to spend from Capital One. You are Capital One. You are Capital One. So now you say, okay, I got $3,000 in my emergency savings. I had an emergency and now I had to spend $1,000 on this emergency. So now you owe yourself $1,000. So what you're gonna do on top of your, if it's possible, on top of your regular contributions, you're gonna pay back that $1,000 so you can replenish your emergency fund or your credit limit. And if you want to pay yourself interest, you can pay yourself interest. And I honestly, I would say that feels way more better than paying Capital One all that interest because you're paying yourself that money, you paying yourself back, versus giving that money away to this billion-dollar company. So you're making sure that you're gonna always be okay. So I do want to talk about, before we end today, I want to talk about what financial stability coaching services are. So Family Houston, we do have an integrated financial stability coaching services that provide personalized one-on-one support to empower individuals in achieving their career and financial goals. Our financial stability coaches, we work closely with our clients to address any immediate needs while equipping you with tools for long-term stability and success. So the main goal of coaching is we want you to be able to have long-term financial stability with the tools and things that we're working on with you in your coaching session. Every session is different. It's based on that individual. So we don't have like a cookie cutter thing that we do with everybody. There's some things we do with everybody, which is the budget and reviewing of the credit report. But what we discuss about your goals and the strategies to accomplishing your goals is going to be different from person to person. We do have coaches in different offices. I'm currently working here at the central office, which is near downtown. Also work in our Clear Lake office once a week. So if you or someone you know lives out in Clear Lake, then they have access to us out there. We have a coach in Brookshire, which is part of Wheeler, not Wheeler. I'm thinking about the church, Waller County. Waller County, and she covers like the Katy area, Brookshire, and the Waller County area. And then we have a coach in Fort Bend that covers that Southwest Houston and Fort Bend area. So we have a coach to meet most of Houston. We do offer virtual coaching as well as in person. Because we do understand some people like to come in person. They like to be in person. And then some people, they like the convenience of meeting with us online. And then we are not just for adults. We have a youth program as well. So we do the same one-on-one personalized coaching with our teens and young adults. So 14, that's ages 14 to 24. So if you got kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, and you feel like they would benefit from learning about career development as well as financial literacy, you can send them our way. Not only are we doing one-on-one coaching, we also do monthly workshops. And if they are thinking about being entrepreneurs or they're already entrepreneurs, we have a micro grant and we help them with business development. As well as if they're looking for employment, we can help cover some employment expenses as well. This is the QR code. So if you have any young people that you want to sign up, you can scan the QR code. And then that would take you to our intake form. And you can, and then one of the coaches will reach out to schedule an appointment with them,
What's the ages?
14 to 24.
The employment, the career, or the employment coaching too?
Yeah, just for, the youth, and I forgot to mention, we do adults, we have, so I'm gonna say 14 and up. We do one-on-one coaching. It's just when you're in the youth program, we have some added benefits. But we do have employment coaching as well. So if you're needing to find better employment, your job is stressing you out, then we can help you with like fixing your resume, as well as like interviewing tips, as also like if you need employment resources, free trainings, we can help with that as well. And then I also want to announce that we have a credit series that we're starting. It's going to be once a month, every third Saturday. So the one for May is going to be this May 16th. No, I should know this by heart.
That's next Saturday.
Yeah, so the 16th. Is it the 16th?
Yeah.
That's the third Saturday?
Uh-huh.
See, May is already driving me crazy. So May 16th, at 10 a.m. Here at Family Houston, we will be hosting another credit workshop as part of our credit series. This one will be talking about building your credit score or rebuilding your credit score, and just tips and strategies that you can use. And I also talk about how to maintain a good credit score, because once you get a good credit score, you want to keep it at all costs. So that would be the focus for this month. And then next month, we'll be talking about home buying. So the third Saturday in June, we'll be talking about home buying. And then you can go to familyhouston.org to learn, to register for the Credit Now events, to check the dates as well. As well as if you want to schedule for counseling services. Pierre talked about mental health services. So if you want to schedule for counseling services, you can go to familyhouston.org. And we also do resource supports. So if you're needing help with your basic needs, we do have community resource specialists that can help you find resources to cover like your rent, utility, food. We have a food pantry, so you can sign up to visit our food pantry as well.
What are the qualifications for that? And the assist, the resource?
For the resource, so I think anyone can schedule an appointment with a community support specialist. So the eligibility will be based on what programs or resources are available. For the food pantry, I don't know if there's an income guideline, so I'll have to ask that. But I would just say, to get more information for the food pantry, you can either visit familyhouston.org or call our main line. It's 713-861-4849. And at that number, you can speak to one of our intake specialists. So they will schedule you for any program that you're wanting to engage with. We also have an email, programs@familyhouston.org. So you can also email us if you're interested in scheduling an appointment, or if you have more questions about any of the programs and services that we offer, you can call or email us as well. And I definitely want to thank everyone for showing up online on Zoom as well as in person. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation and you learned some new tools that you can use to reduce your stress.
And stop shopping. Oh, goodness. All right, I don't see, there's no any other questions that we have in the chat. And the only other questions that I had was the one that was emailed to me. So there's nothing on social media either. So, again, the contact information for Family Houston is included here. I will also include it in the email that I send out, along with the recording, all the resources, the links, the budget forms, all that, and even the link for that, the QR code for the stress test or whatever, that'll be included.
Oh,
because
yes.
I found it, and so I've got it saved. So I'll include that on the email that I send out to everybody as well. So if you have any other additional questions about anything else, please feel free to reach out to us. If there are currently some information, workshops or what have you that you need more information about that we don't currently offer, then please feel free to reach out to us or complete the survey that's included on the screen or that pops up as soon as we end the series for today. Love to hear from you. Love to hear your feedback to let us know if the information that you received here today was helpful or beneficial for yourself or someone else that you know of that could also utilize the information. So with that being said, you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you all for tuning in today and for coming out. We really appreciate your continued support, and we hope to see you all next time. Thank you very much.